So welcome back to our short series of videos with relationship to breathing and coughing. And I'm going to show you a different breathing technique, which is psychical breathing. It's a way of breathing using all aspects of the chest, the thorax, which is what we breathe with, and making sure that you're fully expanding your lungs and chest effectively. So in the first video, I talked about the diaphragmatic breathing, breathing deeply into your tummy. And that both as a way of breathing deeply, but also as a way of relaxing. This technique will use your diaphragm a little bit and help you breathe with the diaphragm, but it'll also focus on helping you to expand the ribs lower down, higher up, through the chest, and inhaling through what they call the thoracic outlet, which is the space at the top of the chest here. So we have 5 zones of breathing: abdomen, lower ribs, middle ribs, front ribs, and thoracic outlet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to go through those in stages. Now this can be a useful tool for just helping with learning to breathe again. So the diaphragmatic breathing, the tummy breathing, helps you focus on the diaphragm. But if you're somebody who has had an injury to your upper back or shoulders, has a rib injury, particularly tight across the rib cage here, this could be another way of helping you engage and mobilise the ribs effectively whilst really expanding your chest and rib cage. Now, if you're living with a breathing disorder like asthma or bronchitis or emphysema, you may find this a little bit challenging. It may be difficult to get a full breath because your lung expansion may be limited. It is useful for asthma. It's helpful for asthma because it helps train the muscles to help you with breathing in, opening up your airways. Asthma is a condition that actually is not so much about difficulty breathing in, but it's actually a difficulty of exhaling. So we'll work through the cycle, which is breathing in and then breathing out, as a means of helping you fully exhale as well as fully inhale. So it's again a straightforward process, but it's about monitoring these 5 zones. So I'm going to just take you through those 5 zones to start with, and then we'll combine them together as a breathing exercise. So first of all, to remind you, the diaphragm. So the first stage of breath, and we're not taking a full breath with the diaphragm here, we're just making sure that it's engaging. So the first part of the breathing in is, so again, we're breathing in through our noses and getting a little bit of diaphragmatic movement. So I'll just do that again. Okay, so we're doing a partial breath, not a full diaphragm breathing, because then we're running out of expansion. We'll go through this stepwise. So diaphragmatic breathing, again, you can monitor with the hand on your chest. So breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. So that's the diaphragm breathing that we talked about in the first video. We're going to use that as the starting point. Part 2 is using the lower ribs. So once you've got the diaphragm to engage, then you want to try and bring the lower ribs out. Now the ribs move in different ways. The lower ribs move in what's called a bucket handle movement. So like the handle on a bucket which hinges around the attachment point on the bucket. So the lower ribs rise up, they flare up and flare down like that. So to help us with learning this zone, we place our hands lower down on the rib cage, and as we're breathing in, we want to feel them flare. So I've done my diaphragm, part 1, my lower ribs coming up as a bucket handle. So that's 1, 2. Then we move to the middle ribs here. Now the middle ribs transition, so they move from being buckets to what they call pump handles. So they tend to move more like that rather than like that. So we place our hands on the rib cage here, and I'll go through stage 1 a little bit. Stage 2, stage 3. So we're bringing the ribs will flare at the front, and you'll feel them if you're mindful of them. You'll feel them open up at the front and pivot like so. Now the 4th stage is the upper ribs. So these ribs here at the very top are true bucket handles. So they move laterally and upwards with the muscles of the neck. And the muscles of the neck, engaging those, is the final stage. So we'll come to those in a minute. So thinking about the upper ribs, what we're feeling with here with our hands across our collarbones and the top ribs here, just looking to feel them lifting and spreading at the front. So They don't move very much, so don't expect a massive opening of your chest here. Most of the movement's happening through the lower and middle ribs, but these start to open up. And the last phase, the fifth phase, is the final contraction of the neck muscles. So we can get to those by placing our fingers lightly on the neck from side to side and waiting for them to begin to contract. Now, if you've gone through this cycle and you get to here and already your neck muscles are like piano strings, you've probably gone too fast, too far. So we're going to go through it from stage one, and I'm going to build up this cycle so you can see what I'm doing. And then when we get to the neck muscles, you'll see what I do. So I'm going to start off with the diaphragm. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then backwards, out, breathe down, so it's a slow process. You're taking about maybe a second with each phase to make sure that all aspects of the lungs are being opened and the chest is being stretched. Note my posture, I'm sitting upright again, so I'm not slouched, I'm not constricting my breathing, I'm trying to sit up straight, and I breathe in, and I'll just do that again for you. You may find it easier to breathe in through the mouth using this technique. So I'm going to just demonstrate with breathing through the mouth too. So breathe in, first stage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then out. So the breath is coming in stages. I've demonstrated it as a stepwise process. When you practice this, you'll be able to do it without thinking about that. So I'll just demonstrate that. It's difficult to visualize through the video because you're not getting a very close view, but you should be able to breathe fully without having to monitor. The monitoring is just a simple way of helping you focus on these different zones to breathe. But if I do it sitting myself, you'll see what I'm doing. So I'm going to look straight ahead and I'm going to just take a deep breath in with each of these 5 zones engaged. I'll do that again. And once more. Okay, so I was breathing in through my nose, and when I remembered, I was breathing out through my mouth, and it was just a staged, controlled process. It's not fast, it's a staged, controlled process. And that's just another way of helping improve lung function and engaging all aspects of the lungs and the rib cage and the thorax to help you breathe fully and deeply. Thank you for watching. I hope that's been helpful. If you have any questions, as always, contact us through the email address appointments@theosteopaths.org.uk or ring us on 0141 887 3734 or simply comment below about this video and I or my partner Teresa will get back to you as soon as we can to answer any questions. Thank you for watching.